So should you charge bigger clients more money just because they happen to be bigger? That's what I'm talking about today on the Biz Chat. So we have a question from a fan today. His name is Dean and he lives in the UK. And was his question. He said that I retrained as a WordPress web designer. I tracked down a client that turned out to be a $1 billion FX company, and they're used to paying £35,000 for a high-end brochure-style website, no crazy functionality. For the exact same thing, I normally charge about $4,000 to $6,000 for my regular small to medium-sized business clients. Should I charge them more just because they're a larger client? I think this is a great question and one that I'd like to offer my 2 cents on. Yes, I think you should charge larger clients more, than even if it's the same product. I'm going to go through 4 reasons why. So the first one is that larger clients typically have a much longer sales cycle, and you need to account for that. When you sell to large enterprise companies, you're typically not dealing with the founder or somebody who is really the main decision maker. You're often dealing with, if you're lucky, maybe a VP, maybe a director, somebody who's in charge of procurement, somebody who's in the department that buys things. And when you are dealing with these types of departments and people within them, their job really is to try to squeeze as much as they can out of their suppliers and vendors. They're usually not the person who makes the final call. It usually needs to go through several departments. Maybe there's an IT audit that needs to be done. Maybe their CFO needs to review things before they're purchased. So it can take 6 months, a year to close an enterprise deal. And this is whether you're an agency in consulting, whether you're in SaaS, pretty much any type of business that's selling to a large enterprise, maybe a Fortune 1000, maybe a little smaller than that. There is a lot of hoops that you need to jump through in order to close that deal, and sometimes even longer than a year for a sales cycle. So just to purely account for your cost of acquisition, just to account for all the meetings and phone calls and emails that need to be sent, you need to account for that in the budget. Secondly is the clients, once you get them in the door, are typically going to want more attention than your regular clients. There might be longer payment terms around, when you're sending them billing. They might want special terms and conditions. They might want a special contract made just for them with things that they want in them, and then just day-to-day dealing with them as clients, as customer success people. You're going to need to give them a little bit of that white glove service. So you want to account for that in the budget. The third reason is that they're going to expect to be charged more money. And in fact, if you charge too little, you probably won't even win the project. The crazy thing, and it's hard to wrap your head around if you're a really small business owner and you're used to, you think about buying things the way you as a regular consumer would buy them. Like when we have our consumer hat on, when we're just regular people going about to the store or looking at maybe buying an app like Spotify or Netflix, $10 a month seems like a pretty good value to us as consumers because it's coming out of our pocket directly. But if you had to pay, let's say, $1,000 a month to use Spotify or Netflix, you probably wouldn't pull the plug on that. To an enterprise customer, to somebody who's buying on behalf of a large organization that maybe does tens of millions, hundreds of millions or more a year in revenue, $1,000 a month for a software product that solves their problem is absolutely nothing. It's like you buying a pack of gum. So they're not going to question things that are a lot more money. So if you're a consultant or an agency coming in charging, let's say, $2,000 for a website or for a marketing strategy, that's going to seem so cheap to them, they probably won't even buy it because they'll question the value that they're going to get from it. They're going to question the expertise of the people executing on that contract. So in order to get their attention, you really need to be charging them in dollars that make sense to them. They're not going to go through the hoops of having, their procurement office look into it, going through the IT audits, going through the legal stuff for something that only costs a couple $1,000 or even $10,000. So this makes sense when I look at Dean's question as far as why would that customer be used to paying something like $35,000 for a website that you could really do for only a couple $1,000s. So that's one of the reasons why you want to charge more money, is that the client is going to be expecting that kind of budget. That's typically what they're going to have in mind. When you start getting into enterprise deals that are in the hundreds of $1,000s or millions of dollars, you have to really be sure that you're solving a massive, massive pain for them. If you're just giving them a tool, if you're just giving them a nice to have, they're not going to pay that much money. But if you can really prove that you're going to be saving them millions of dollars a year, that you're going to be freeing their team up, which can translate into millions of dollars of costs, you can really charge those high amounts. The fourth and final thing is about delivering value. Now, I know in Dean's question, he said that he was going to be basically doing the same quality of work that he would have done for a smaller company. And this is the only area where I disagree a bit. And I think that when you are selling to an enterprise customer, you have to be delivering more value than you would deliver to a small customer. If you're doing a website for a flower shop, and you're just giving them a nice brochure site for people to contact them, and you're only charging them a few grand, I mean, that's great, but you can't be delivering that same level of quality of service to a company that you're charging $100,000 for a brochure site. So that's where you may want to pack in more people around the offering. You may want to dedicate an account manager on your team to just work with that one enterprise client. Whatever the pain point is for that particular customer, you want to make sure that you're over delivering, because you don't want to sell that one project and then have them go away. Ideally, if you're going through the work of selling to a large enterprise client, you want to keep them very long term. So you have to be thinking about upgrades, retainers, things that you're going to be able to upsell to them later on because you're delivering amazing, outstanding value. Hope that was helpful. For more content like this, be sure to hit subscribe. You'll get more coming in your inbox every week. Thanks, and bye for now.